Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. I don't even know where to start this morning. Kind of crazy as to what's going on. I mean, Trump hasn't even been president elect for a week, and we're already seeing people around the world just come completely unhinged. Okay, we'll deal with it. I'm going to give you a few things that happened. The first one's kind of a little sidebar. A couple of you guys emailed me this overnight, and all of a sudden I saw the story all over the place this morning. Remember all the relief effort that we did for Hurricane Helene? We didn't get involved in Milton because that was down in Florida, and it was basically going on a week later. We were all tied up. Yeah, well, apparently you had a senior FEMA official instructing their underlings when they were going to offer FEMA help to avoid any houses that had Trump signs or Trump flags on there. I'm serious. I'll post a link below. You guys can read the article, but you can find it all over the place. You know, when we did our donations, I don't think any of you, certainly not myself, Michelle, Diane, Patera, anybody, were like, oh, these are only for conservatives. No, these are just for the people. And I don't care how you slice it, even though Tennessee is a deep red state, there are still Kamala Harris supporters in this state. No question. Doesn't matter. They're still people. Okay. But this FEMA director, Marnie Washington, told her employees not to go offer assistance from FEMA. And of course, when FEMA eventually found out about it, she was removed and relocated from her position. I'm assuming they put her in a deep blue area then, down in Florida. And apparently the pressure kept up enough to the point where she was eventually removed from her position pending an investigation. But this was a federal employee. And this is the swamp that Trump needs to drain. This is the people that are there. Federal employees are supposed to work for all people. They are not supposed to be partisan. They are not elected. They are supposed to do their job, and that is it. Now, moving along, how it's getting interesting. And you guys know me. I've talked about it long enough. I'm a firm believer in they're going to try to unalive Donald Trump again, whether before or after he's inaugurated. That's, who knows. You've got enough rhetoric coming out of the people on the left, the media, the Democrat politicians who are trying to stoke violence. I mean, AOC's out calling for protests and riots. Literally telling people to take to the streets. That's not the way we're supposed to perform. It's not the way we're supposed to be as a country. At least in Biden's, I won't say concession speech or whatever he mentioned the other day, he talked about a peaceful transition of power. Now, whether or not Joe's got a little bit of smile there because Kamala Harris pushed him out and then got her ass handed to her, who knows? But I'll give Joe credit for that. At least his last speech, we hope, was a little bit dignified. But so let's take a look at what's happened here in the United States in the 4 days now, this being the fourth day, since Trump was declared the 47th president. I love the comments. It's like, oh, Joe's going to step down so Kamala Harris can be president for a month. They can claim they had the first female president, and then all Trump's 47 swag would be worthless. Go ahead. Don't think anybody cares. You know, just whatever. But let's start looking at the effect it's already had on the world. Okay. We'll start in the United States. There's a survey that just came out. 50% of Democrats want to move because of the election results. Okay? Now, some want to move overseas, Canada, Great Britain, and Mexico being the top 3 places there. And then the top 3 that they want to move domestically are California, New York, and Colorado. Good luck living on that economy. It's not like people are moving to California going, you know what, great job opportunities out there, good prices of houses. But the interesting part is that it's mostly millennials and Zoomers that want to move. Okay. And I that's fine. I don't have any problem with it. We see people move all the time. I mean, I moved. Part of our reasons for leaving Las Vegas and moving to Tennessee, Mrs. P didn't like the weather. Mrs. P wanted to see trees, yada, yada, yada. One of my big reasons for moving was when Nevada elected the unholy trinity of Jackie Rosen, Steve Sisolak, and Stephen Horsford. And I'm like, okay, this state's going to shit. We're getting out of here. And Mrs. P's like, I don't like the weather, yada, yada, yada. And so we moved, and we're very happy here. That's fine. I totally believe in people doing that. You should do that. You should live amongst people with similar beliefs, similar values, etc., etc. Unfortunately, where we are in this country is the 2 sets of beliefs and values are opposite ends of a yardstick. This is why I've said many times I expect balkanization. Eventually you will have deep red and deep blue states, and that's it. And that's fine, okay? The map changes all the time. If people want to move, go ahead. If people want to move to Canada, if people want to move to Great Britain, if people want to move to Mexico, I just want to remind them real quick, you can't just cross the border and say, hi, I'm here. They have immigration laws. Okay, you need to prove that, you are self-sufficient, you can support yourself, or you have a job or something. You can't just walk up and say, hi, I'd like to move here. Doesn't work that way. They think it does, but doesn't. But then you start talking about other things that are going on in the world. Anybody notice the Chinese market? Stock market, it's crashing. Why? Because the Chinese are all of a sudden figuring out these tariffs are not going to do us well. Okay, they're scrambling, trying to save their financial future. How about Hamas and Hezbollah? All of a sudden they're like, we're calling for peace. Immediately after Trump's elected. How about Putin? He's open to listening to Donald Trump's peace talks. Volodymyr Zelensky. We need peace. This is the difference. We start looking at, Turkey. Erdogan has invited Trump to come out there. Turkey's a NATO member. I would not consider Turkey an ally by any means. Okay, but Erdogan has said, hopefully Trump can come in and help stop the Gaza war. Good. People are realizing real quick that the direction the United States is going back into is peace through strength, not lead from behind anymore. This is good. We're already seeing Trump's effect. He isn't even in office, has no authority, but we're already seeing promises made, promises kept. The world is looking at an economic change. Putin's come out and said, we're okay with the dollar being the petrodollar being the world, or the dollar being the world reserve currency. Seems like some of the push for the BRICS currency is kind of dwindling. Okay? It's a good thing. This is what happens when the people speak up, when the people say, this is what we want, as opposed to Barack Obama saying, we're small-minded people and we need the government to make our decisions for us, that we're not smart enough to do it on our own. The people are definitely smart enough to do it on their own. And the people spoke on Tuesday and said, this is what we want. We've given you a mandate. We've given you the presidency. We've given you the Senate. Last I saw it, it may have changed overnight. The Republicans are 2 seats away from controlling the House, and there's still a bunch of houses or bunch of races to be called. That's a mandate. That's overwhelming. You know, it's not 60, 70, 80%. It's not Reagan over Mondale. But when you get all 3 houses, the popular vote, etc., when the Democrats are already calling for Sonia Sotomayor to resign now because she's 70 years old so that Joe Biden can replace her because they're worried about something happening to her and Donald Trump getting another seat on the Supreme Court. Yeah. The New World Order, globalism, worldwide communism took a dying breath Tuesday night. Alex Soros is out whining, you know, George Soros' son. Why is it that all these countries around the world are moving away from globalism? Why are we losing elections? Why are we losing seats in Parliament, in Congress, whatever they call their governing body? Because the people don't want it. The elites do, because they want to be up on top of the mountain, and they want the rest of us down in the valleys. Feudalism. We've talked about that for a couple of years. That's what they want. The people don't want to be down in the valley. We want to be somewhere up on that mountain too. We understand you're up on the top of the hill. Ain't no big deal. But we're not going to be down there waiting for you to throw us crumbs. As preppers, we're the example. Okay. And other people say, you wonder why and call us whatever, survivalists, preppers, homesteaders, self-efficient people, you know, call yourself whatever you want, wherever you are on the spectrum. You know, not everybody does the same thing. There's plenty of people out there who would call themselves one of the above names that don't own guns or don't have alternative power or something. But they do something. Maybe they're homeschoolers because they don't believe in the public school system anymore. Maybe they are farmers or avid gardeners or raise livestock or something. There's a reason why we were a minuscule percentage of the population even 10 years ago. And now you're talking somewhere around 5 to 10% of the United States openly calls themselves preppers or homesteaders. The stigma is gone. The reality is it's not a crazy tinfoil hat wearing wacko position to hold anymore. And other people are realizing this, going, you know what? That ain't such a bad idea. Vegetables are expensive, or eggs are expensive, or the power goes out here a lot. I like to hunt, whatever. And people are going, you know what? Maybe I can do this too. The governments are starting to realize that the people whom they think are subjects don't rely on them, don't need them as much as they think we do. And that scares the crap out of them. In the next 4 years, we may see a huge paradigm shift from the belief that, at least what the politicians have, that we're their subjects, to the point where they may come back and start realizing, hey, we work for them. Ultimately, they tell us what to do. I can only hope and pray that's true, because that's how the government was set up in the United States in the first place. We've drifted far away from what the Founding Fathers wanted this country to be. It looks like Tuesday gave us a little bit of a change of direction, and we're headed back to where we need to be. It's time again for us to be the leaders of the world. And I'm not talking about financing every war, overthrowing government, military-industrial complex. No, I'm talking about it's time for us as the people to show the rest of the world, this is how you take back your country. Rather than coming here, use our example and take yours back and make yours a better place to live. Who knows? Maybe a Kamala Harris supporter wants to come over and live there soon. Pinball out.